What's up, what's up? Real MVPs, Ricky Widmer here. And what's up, I should say, you know what? Scratch that. Let's go. What's up, webheads? Ricky Widmer here, along with my co-host, my partner in crime, Dave Oster. Dave, how you doing?
Doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic because this is a very special video, in case you guys are wondering what the hell's going on. It should be up over there, over Dave. Spider-Man No Way Home came out, and Dave and I saw it. And I know usually you guys are sitting there going, well, Ricky, usually the movie reviews that we see on this channel are just you, and you give your opinion. But I thought for this one, my original olive branch was obviously to Dave, but also to a Mr. Jake Neverman, who also saw the movie with Big Time Fred. Yo, Fred, what up?
No,
Fred also said something that we will get into, Dave. The comment was, it was a great movie. I'm actually going to bring up Jake's text so I don't fuck up Fred's quote. I do not agree with him, but me and you will get into this exact conversation in this podcast. I know we will. Jake said, yeah, Fred said it best. That was a top 5 Marvel movie, but Endgame's still numero uno.
Ooh.
I asked you that same question before we saw the movie because I had a feeling that this was going to be a really, really good movie. Before we get into everything, I do have to say, fucking spoilers, man. Like, it's going to be in the title. Like, there was a part of me that was like, should I make a thing that goes down at the bottom? I still have to do like a post thing for this because we're not doing it live or recording it. So
right.
I may put spoilers down below so you know, but it's going to be in the title. Like, spoilers. We're going to spoil the shit out of it. If you haven't seen it, go see it because people are not going to be able to not spoil it forever. Go and see it and then come back. We'll be waiting here. Remember, join the Discord if you haven't done that already. Greatest community in the universe. If you want to support us, patreon.com/MVPvids is how you can go ahead and do that here on Entertainment, because we do not meet the requirement for channel members yet on this channel. Hit that sub button, though. That'll help us get there. Hit the sub button, like button, and that notification bell so you know whenever anything's popping off here at MVP. But Dave, where do you want to start? I think we should start with just general thoughts. What did you think of No Way Home in just a general way before we get into spoilers?
I mean, amazing is, just kind of, it seems like the word stuck a lot, stood out a little bit from the movie itself.
No, dude, you're amazing. Say it. You're amazing.
Say it. Just say it. You're amazing.
You're amazing.
No, it was a really, really good combination of good storytelling, good awareness of the Spider-Man universe and the expectations that fans had for it, even with all the spoilers out there, with all the leaks out there about what was going to happen. It was incredibly enjoyable. It felt like it hit that right balance of like respecting the content, but also fan service at the same time. Yeah. It was a lot of nostalgia, but at the same time, like, it didn't feel out of place. It felt like it worked within the flow of the movie. It was just super enjoyable, and I felt like it wrapped up this 3-movie set really nicely. We got the trilogy out of Tom Holland, and I think this was like a perfect capstone for it.
Well, and I'm going to piggyback off of that idea. You said it capped off the trilogy nicely. I think it capped off, no matter which Spider-Man you think about in this, Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, Tom Holland, it capped off all 3. Like, it was a perfect ending to, like, okay, we can put these, like, I know Tom Holland's going to be back. He signed a 3-movie deal. I don't know if that's going to be like, oh, well, one of those movies will be Fantastic Four. One of those will be like Avengers down the line when they do
New Avengers.
The New Avengers. I don't know if it's going to be that or if it's like already there's Amy Pascal and Kevin Feige are already planning what the fuck are we going to do for Spider-Man 4. They are going to do a Spider-Man 4 in the MCU. So, I mean, I don't know if that is just another trilogy with Tom Holland. I know Tom Holland has also come out and said that he wants to take a break from being Spider-Man for a bit. He threw out the line, Dave, of I would like to start a family, which everyone's eyes immediately went to Zendaya. Like, huh? You two are dating, so what does this mean? Like, are you on board with this? Tom wants to do it. Are you on board? We're not
Yeah.
E though. But I mean, it was the perfect ending to all three, like the Tom Holland trilogy, the Garfield, the Tobey Maguire. All three got their redemption ending, like a form of a redemption ending. I'm gonna say it. I think this was a perfect movie, and I don't say that often. Like, I like movies. I like movies far more than you. I know I've become a little bit more cynical.
You like movies far more than me?
Because, well,
You,
I mean,
you
like,
mean you're a
I forgive things a lot easier than you do. You're more cynical than I am. You have
Yes.
made me more cynical than I used to be. Also, doing a podcast with Johnny, I had to become a little bit more cynical, or else it would just be everyone loves everything.
everything's rainbows and lollipops.
Basically, but like, the only part in this movie, and I don't know, this is where we begin because it's so far into the movie, but there was only one thing in this movie that I was like, but then right away I was like, oh, okay, I understand what they're going with, and that was Aunt May dying.
Okay.
Like when like the first thing when she was like talking to Peter, no, blah blah blah, because we gotta remember that. And then she gives the Uncle Ben line: "With great power comes great responsibility."
And
right
again,
away
thank you.
cringed.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Dave. Go ahead.
Shout out to whatever channel I watched that gave like a billion fucking Easter eggs and things.
Yep.
She didn't actually give the direct line. She gave the line from the comics, like the original Stan Lee line, which isn't just it's not with great power comes great responsibility. It's with great power something comes great responsibility. Like there's an extra little bit in there. And I don't know why that makes a difference, but it makes a difference.
I mean,
I just had to put it out there because it is like a little bit of like an extra something that the other Uncle Bens didn't say.
Yeah.
I say it's one Uncle Ben 2 movie series previously, but yeah.
So right here, I just Googled it. The Gamer said the line in question is, "With great power comes great responsibility." It was first used in a Spider-Man comic almost 60 years ago, but became a household catchphrase after it was said by Uncle Ben and then repeated by Tobey Maguire in 2002. When asked if the line will be said in No Way Home, Pascal smiled and said, "You'll have to come see the movie." This was written, obviously, before the movie was released. But, I mean, pretty much whenever she said it, though, I cringed a little bit. I cringed because my first thought was, it's not your line. Like, right away, I'm already thinking, I was like, I wish she would have just like put in the tag of like, oh, like your Uncle Ben used to say, because that was something you and I have talked about. There has been no reference to Uncle Ben in the MCU. The only like little hint, is it an Easter egg? Is it a fan service? Is it them saying that Uncle Ben is in the universe, but he's already died? Is that in Homecoming, I think it's Homecoming, or it might have been Civil War, one of the two, when he's closing the suitcase. It might have been No Way Home, not No Way Home. It might have been Far From Home, because that's where he needed a suitcase. When he closes the suitcase, the initials are Uncle Ben's initials. So, like, they never said, like, oh, that means Uncle Ben's in the universe. But, like, there's a part of me, when I saw it, was like, she should have said, like, oh, like your Uncle Ben used to say. But then, she died. And I thought to myself, I was like, huh. You know what? Like, I'm impacted by this. Obviously, I did not see that coming. I did not see them killing Aunt May. Like I did, like when you played the video game, you could see that coming from a mile away. Like, oh, they're gonna fucking don't do it. Don't do it. You're gonna kill Aunt May. You killed Aunt May. Why did you have to do that to me? Why did you have to bring me through that? But then it hit me, and you and I talked about after we saw the movie of Toby and Andrew had Uncle Ben. Tom didn't. So Tom needed that. Every Spider-Man needs that to be Spider-Man. You are not fully Spider-Man until you have that happen. It's just that Tom Holland's version, Aunt May is that person, not Uncle Ben.
Yeah. I mean, just to clarify, the original one I was talking about was with great power, there must also come great responsibility.
That's it.
And that is the difference between Uncle Ben and Aunt May. She's quoting the original Spider-Man comic from 60 years ago. And the other ones were shortened versions of that. So it was a nice little touchback, callback to the original Stan Lee writing. But yeah, no, it's 100% Aunt May has filled that role in this universe. And Aunt May also hit him with the responsibility line earlier in the movie about, he gave the like, not my, it's not my responsibility line about the villains who are all going to die. Whereas in the other ones, it was Tobey Maguire letting I forget his name, the thief who kills Uncle Ben, get by him. Yeah, no, well, in the original one.
Yeah, it was Sandman was the one in the Tobey Maguires that killed Uncle Ben.
Somebody else. I swear somebody else, but yeah.
So it was technically it was someone else.
Yeah, I'd say
but then in 3, they kind of retconned it and made it that it was Sandman's character. That was the one that killed but yeah, Uncle Ben.
As he runs by in the wrestling backstage, he's like, not my responsibility.
Yep.
Not my job. And like Aunt May hit him with the like, no, Tom Holland, this is your responsibility. This is what we do. You fix things, you fix people kind of thing. So it was a nice heavy touch of like what we had been missing from Uncle Ben not being involved is he has truly kind of been set on the right track by her. Even though, like, up to this point, like, I felt like Aunt May had always just been like a goofy background character to bounce off of Happy Hogan and like the whole like, hey, look, I don't know the Spider-Man in the first one, and then what the fuck at the end of the first one?
Or have sex with Tony Stark.
Well, there was also that tease, It was just like, it felt like a much more easygoing character. So, like, this was the first bit of, like, by the third movie in, we finally got, like, a guiding essence of Spider-Man there for Tom Holland. I thought that was really cool. That it finally happened. I was kind of surprised up to this point that I was like, does it feel weird that we haven't heard the famous line? Does it feel weird that we haven't had, like, that kind of a moment where consequences happen because he chooses not to step up?
I mean, I'm thinking, like, I never thought about the line because I've always thought, since Homecoming, I've thought of this Spider-Man as different. Like, after there was no Uncle Ben, I was like, okay, this Spider-Man is clearly going to be different. There's no Uncle Ben. They're going to do things a little bit, like, different than Tobey Maguire and Garfield. And, like, there was a part of me, it's kind of like the Batman syndrome of how many times do I need to see Martha and Bruce's father, Bruce Sr., what's his name? I'm blanking on his name. How many times do I need to see his parents die? The same way with Spider-Man. How many times do I need to see Uncle Ben die? Where it was almost like, I think the reason it impacted me more than it should have, or more than like Uncle Ben would, is because we haven't seen Aunt May die unless you played the Spider-Man video game. That's the only time we've seen Aunt May die. Every other time, it's been Uncle Ben.
Yeah, Thomas Wayne.
Thomas Wayne, that was it. I'm like, why am I blanking on this? I'm like, I'm just gonna go on.
And then I went, Martha? Your mom's name's Martha too? And I just had that moment in my head play out.
It's the only reason I can remember Martha. And I was like, why can't... And then I was like, Flashpoint. Bruce Sr.?
No, Thomas Wayne.
That was it.
But you're right. It's the fact that Homecoming started off already beyond the point of, like, hey, this is the origin story. We're going to get the ball rolling already. So you're right. We did kind of skip a step. And that it was a nice way to, like, end this, but at the same time, I started thinking about this. The end of this trilogy is his origin story because the universe forgets who Peter Parker is.
Yep.
So he's not.
And not just that, like, the thing that, yet again, you said you watched an Easter egg movie. I've watched several different ones on YouTube.
Yeah.
And the one point, I can't remember where it was, where I saw it brought up, was the Spider-Man at the end of this movie is the Spider-Man that we remember has his own apartment. What he's probably going to do, and this is people already speculating, is that since nobody knows who Peter Parker is, nobody knows that he's Spider-Man, he's probably going to... The idea that was thrown out in the video that I watched was basically he's going to try to, hey, I need to paint Spider-Man in a good image. How do I do that? I'm going to use, because Betty Brant in this video, or it wasn't in this video, it's on the TikTok. The Daily Bugle has a TikTok in real life. And that character works for the Daily Bugle. Use her to get a job at the Daily Bugle, selling JJ pictures of Spider-Man like we've always remembered. And it's like, okay, this is the Spider-Man moving forward. It's kind of like we went from a high school Spider-Man, which Andrew Garfield's was a high school Spider-Man, right?
Yep.
So it's kind of going from like an Andrew Garfield and Ultimate Spider-Man kind of Spider-Man into the one that we all remember, which was right where Tobey's picked up of like, I'm in college, I'm working, like I'm out of high school kind of a thing. And like the thing that I am most intrigued, and yet again, this is like kind of speculation, is I'm intrigued to what they do with MJ and Ned, because MIT is in Boston. Peter's staying in New York.
Correct.
Because he did not get into MIT.
He did not, no, he had a book at the end for his GED because Peter Parker doesn't exist.
Yep.
So he has no education on the records. He has no high school diploma. He has no nothing. So again, one of the videos pointed that out, and I was like, he's probably gonna go get his GED. And I like the idea of the photographer though. If he goes back to or whatever journalist kind of that he comes up with. I like that idea. I kind of like the play on, obviously times have changed, so it's not the same exactly, but it's in the same vein of using the Daily Planet, Daily Bugle.
Daily Bugle.
Why is that? Yeah.
Daily Planet Superman.
I was going to say, I'm now stuck in Superman land.
Yeah.
Using that to, balance out the idea. Yes, it is still back to Martha. No, it's true. It's true. It's a good point. I don't know. I just feel like there's so much directionally, like it's open for them at this point because it is basically like fresh slate, and now we have like an established Spider-Man.
One small thing. This is gonna bug me if I don't bring it up.
Sure.
There is one thing that bugged me about this movie.
Yeah.
That Betty Brant gave us the go get him tiger. And not MJ. MJ should have gave that line, man. I get it doesn't fit her character, but
not
like
even a little.
Right as she was feeling like more optimistic, they should have fit it in there. She should have been the one to deliver us that line, not Betty Brant. And like go get him, Tiger, or should I say Spider?
Spider. I thought that was cute.
It was cute, but MJ, it's MJ's line.
Not this universe is MJ. Not this universe is MJ. Well, that is a different universe MJ.
I want to ask.
Speaking of which,
go ahead.
Let's get to the other universes. Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man saying that him and MJ still together, but it's complicated. Like, dude, you hit a woman. Like, you hit her. You guys are still together? Does that not shock you a little bit? And yet, like,
well, no, the thing that I saw it as is, and this is a deeper cut. This is me alone. The Into the Spider-Verse, the Peter Parker and Into the Spider-Verse was almost a direct cut of Tobey Maguire. Had all the same memories as Tobey Maguire. The cafe scene, the train. The one difference was him and MJ aren't together.
Right.
Tobey and MJ are. So like to me, I was like, oh, is that it? Is it like we're even going more into these multiverses that Tobey's the one where it's like, yeah, shit like that happened, but they were able to make it work out and stay together. Into the Spider-Verse's Peter Parker is the one where that happened and it didn't work out. Like, there's that one, because like multiverse changes could be, there are so many to where it's like one thing can change to where it's like, is that the thing that branches that off from this one?
Yeah, no, that's a good point. It's a good point about Spider-Verse. Also a fantastic movie, probably one of the best animated movies of all time. So,
or Dave, should I say, because of Loki, they're all variants of each other.
I mean, sure.
Because they are
variant. If you want to, go down that route. Why not? Let's open up that fucking case now. All right, so we got Tobey Maguire back, who's clearly one of the best lines in the movie, a youth pastor.
So do you have your suit, or are you just gonna be what was it? It
was a youth pastor.
A cool youth pastor.
Youth pastor, yeah.
And then he just goes like, "There, I got the suit."
Yep. It's like, of course I got the suit. Like, of course. You're
I don't go around advertising it. Right? That's what I said.
It felt so good that they brought back these characters, and it felt like everybody was able to pick up in stride with where that character left off emotionally, like characteristic wise, like even the smaller skills of just like how they approach the situations. Each one got a chance to kind of spotlight it between Toby, Andrew, and Tom Holland. And I think that was what was so cool about it, was we got to see, like you said, a true ending kind of a feel-good story for Andrew Garfield, who has gotten ragged on for the last 6 years for awful fucking movie.
Yeah.
That's not his fault. He's a great actor. And he had so many great moments in this, and it warmed my heart to be man, look at him go.
You guys got to fight aliens? I never got to fight an alien. Coolest I ever got to fight was like a rhino in like a mech suit.
A guy in a rhino mech suit. Yeah, it was like Paul Giamatti is the cool. Like, oh man, just that's just very like, oh come on, man, come on. But no, like it was so cool because you got that like sense of brotherhood out of them that all of them kind of needed. Like thinking about it, like Tony Stark was Tom Holland's father figure.
Yep.
He was his Uncle Ben, and that shit. I just realized that.
Yeah, he is.
I just realized my
Tony
brain
is his Uncle Ben.
My brain just kind of had like a moment. Like, wait, I said that out loud.
That's why in No Way Home it hit him so hard.
It makes sense though. Like I brought up earlier that I was like, yeah, well, he didn't have an Uncle Ben, so he didn't get these lines or whatever. I didn't even think about the fact that he had Tony. He had those moments with Tony to help guide him to be who he is today. So cool. But like, I don't even know where I was going with that. My brain just stopped on the realization that Tony was his Uncle Ben.
And the thing I do want to point out here, because this just popped in my brain.
Yeah.
I had to think about this after I got home.
Yep.
Remember when he said the line of like, no, remember, like, go ask Nick Fury, like he'll clear things up. And how they're like, dude, Nick Fury's been off-world for this many. Like, some people might have said, but no, wait, he was in No Way Home. That wasn't Nick Fury.
Right.
He was a Skrull. Like, that whole movie, he was a Skrull, and then at the end of it, boom, he's in space. It didn't hit me. I was like, oh, so he was there, but then he went off-world, and I was like, oh, no, wait, him and Maria were Skrulls.
Yep.
That's why Tom didn't even know.
Exactly.
He was off-world. It was just like, hey, I need someone to cover my spot down there. So that was a little thing that I don't know if anyone caught, that I was like, oh, it hit me a mile later than it did, kind of like the Tony Stark thing.
Yeah.
Dave's like, oh, he did have an Uncle Ben. Oh,
no, it was just different.
But
it was just different.
But the thing is, each Spider-Man had a, like you said, a sense of closure, where Andrew Garfield's was obvious, where the biggest thing was he never could save Gwen. He never saved Gwen. Like, obviously hit him hard. That's where he became, like he said, I kind of flipped the switch and became rageful.
Stop pulling my punches. That was like a...
Stop pulling my punches is the exact line.
Makes a lot of sense, because when you hear Dr. Connors say, like, hey, do you know when I died? And the other guy's like, no. It had, like, Jamie Foxx, Electro, died technically during Amazing Spider-Man 2.
He just disappeared.
Dr. Connors didn't, as far as we know.
Yep.
But when I heard that line from Andrew Garfield going, like, I stopped pulling punch, like, oh, he fucking killed him.
Yeah, Spider-Man killed someone.
He fucking killed Dr. Connors. Like, that was like a, whoa, I just realized what happened there.
Because I'm assuming, and this is us obviously reading into it, did he blame Dr. Connors for the death of Gwen, for him not being able to save her? So then he's like, I'm going to make you pay. Kind of in the same way, Tom wanted to kill Green Goblin because Green Goblin was the reason, in his mind, why Aunt May died.
It's not one-to-one with that, because it wasn't like...
Because I'm trying to
remember Amazing Spider-Man 2, and it was...
I try to block that movie out of my head, Dave.
Yeah,
it was so bad.
It wasn't good.
By the way, Jamie Foxx saying, no, I like this universe. I have hair.
I have hair. Jamie Foxx has to be Jamie Foxx, not some weird blue fucking...
I know.
Yeah.
Let Jamie Foxx be Jamie Foxx. How about that one, Sony?
Smart move. But yeah, no, so like my thought, I don't think it was direct, because I think he was in, I would say jail or whatever, like, obviously. So like it wasn't directly the same time.
He was in jail, and then the boss guy came because they were setting up their Sinister Six kind of thing.
Exactly.
You're right.
It's like so Andrew Garfield just straight up murdered villains, which is kind of cool, kind of dark, kind of makes you wonder what's going on over in that universe right now. But that kind of like that realization hit me as one of those like weird like spin-offs. Like, okay, they said all these guys died while fighting Spider-Man. It's like, okay, Dr. Octavius, we know he pulled the sun down. He died like a hero's death, even though he was like a villain, but like the AI took over his brain. So we get it. He came back. He was good. He helped out at the end, and that was positive, finish. Obviously, Goblin Glider to the fucking guts killed off Willem Dafoe, which Willem Dafoe, can we just fucking give that man some goddamn props for this movie?
He's an amazing
being
actor.
Willem Dafoe.
Like, the thing that's always impressed me about his Green Goblin character is how he's able to just flip the switch from Norman Osborn to Green Goblin. Because it's almost like having two fucking actors on screen.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he does the split personality really well, and the transition between the two with the different voices. Yeah. Like, I don't know, I'm assuming you heard it. Like, as soon as Dr. Octavius was talking to him in the back room by the fabricator, and he's like, yeah, and there'll only be one of you. And, like, all of a sudden it was like, and you got the different voice from Willem Dafoe, and you got, like, the Goblin voice come out and going, like, only one of us. And it was like, oh, shit, he's back. Like, he's not gonna, he ain't standing for that shit. So that was... It was really impressive. Like, Willem Dafoe's acting the whole way through, being the ultimate villain of this movie. Yeah, I mean, that was so fucking cool.
I mean, basically being Tom Holland's Green Goblin without having a Green Goblin in the universe.
Yeah, absolutely. It was kind of weird. Sandman just kind of was there. That one didn't do much for him. I was like, okay. Yeah,
I'm trying to think if they're like...
He dusted away at the end of Spider-Man 3. So we don't know how he died, I guess.
The only reason I could think of why they put him in this is because basically, and yet again to go with the closures, Garfield's closure was saving MJ and basically righting the wrong that he could not, or the biggest failure in his set of movies.
Yes.
Technically, then Tobey Maguire had three moments like that. You could say the moment that he had with the Sandman after, like, he hit him with the thing, like hey, it's gonna be okay. Like, that could be one, but, like, more importantly, him and Doc, where they had that moment of, like, Doc looked at the arc reactor after they took down Electro, and he was like, whoa, the power of the sun in the palm of your hand. And they had, like, a moment, like a things ended right, like they should have, not like they did in Spider-Man 2, where basically he had to kill Doc Ock in order to
no, Doc Ock killed himself.
Yeah, but, like, Peter didn't want him to die.
No, but Doc Ock had to undo the damage that his evil arms did. Yeah,
and both of them, I think, get semi-closure, and then the Green Goblin one, that's the biggest one, of, like, not only does Tobey Spider-Man get to stop Tom Holland from making the biggest mistake that he made, but he also gets to save Green Goblin. He also gets to save Norman, to where it's like, no, you will not die this time. I will not let you die like I did the first time.
Right. He knows Norman Osborn is still in there. No matter who the Goblin is or what the Goblin's done, Norman Osborn is still inside of there. What's weird is the Sandman choice over either... I mean, two choices, honestly, is his best friend killed him, which we had a line about that.
Yeah.
Like, how do we not have...
You can't have two Green Goblins, though.
It wasn't the Green Goblin. It was the Green Goblin and then the Hob. What was Harry's Goblin called? It wasn't the Green Goblin.
Did they call him the Hobgoblin? Because the Hobgoblin should have been...
They're two different goblins.
Yeah.
So, obviously, Harry Osborn could have been one choice instead of the Sandman, or the other one could have been
I think that's
Venom.
too similar to Norman Osborn, to where it would be like, it'd be too redundant.
So then why not Venom?
Venom could have
He killed Venom.
But, good point.
Episode 3, Venom died and Harry Osborn died. They both died. So, like, that's... I was like, Sandman was the one who got away. Like, what are you talking about? You let him escape and, like, try to live a life. So,
and this is going to a post-credit scene, did they show a post-credit scene with Venom, not only to tease that there's now a symbiote in the MCU, which we'll get into that, but was that them also saying the reason why we didn't take the Venom from Tobey's universe is because the Venom from Venom's universe got drawn in.
And he got taken out again.
Yeah, we got the
best Venom we've seen ever on the big screen. And then you're like, you get 8 seconds in the universe that matters.
But he got taken out when everyone else did.
Yeah.
Here's the thing I want to throw into this, and it goes with the spell that we already talked about. So Doctor Strange did a spell, no one remembers Peter Parker.
Yeah.
is that just for the MCU or is that for every universe? Like, the thing I'm wondering is Garfield and Toby going back to their universes and then no one remembers who they are because of Doctor Strange's
That's a good fucking question.
Because, like, that would be fucking, like, I would love, like, the Toby universe. Oh, I worked it out with Mary J. And then he fucking goes back and she doesn't remember who he is.
Yeah, it'd be fucking weird.
Like, that's what I want to know. Like, Into the Spider-Verse, are they not going to have, like, people are like, oh, well, it's going to be Gwen and Miles. And, like, we haven't seen Peter Parker. Well, is he not going to be in it? Because those two will have forgotten who he was because of No Way Home.
I don't think so. Into the Spider-Verse is its own property.
It's a different multiverse.
It's its own property. It's standalone.
So.
It's so good.
They're all multiverses. All of them are
you can say that. Yeah. I'm just saying no. That spell did not go across the multiverse.
Okay.
That spell was for their universe to close the doors to the other universes on this one situation. But you know what never made sense?
I don't want to get it that big. I don't want to get that big and crazy.
But you know what made no sense?
What?
Fucking Jamie Foxx didn't know who Spider-Man was. He didn't know Peter Parker.
Yeah.
He had no idea. He thought Peter Parker was black. He thought Spider-Man was black. Because he didn't know who Peter Parker was. Mm-hmm. So how did he get here? Why?
Because he knew who Spider-Man was.
No, he didn't.
He knew
When Andrew Garfield pulled the mask off, he was like, oh, I thought you were going to be black. And they made like a joke because we all know Miles Morales is coming.
But he knew
he didn't know who Toby...
he knew Peter Parker without knowing he knew Peter Parker. And the reason why
everyone else knew Peter Parker.
So
he didn't know Peter Parker.
So here's the thing. This is the only way I could defend this, Dave, by making it make sense. Like I said, he knew Peter Parker without knowing Peter Parker, where he knew Spider-Man. Remember, there was the scene in Spider-Man 2 where, like, basically, like he dropped the things, like, oh, and then Spider-Man helps him pick it up and stuff. Like, they have that connection. So it's like the only thing I can think of, it's like he knew Spider-Man, he knew Peter Parker. It's kind of like an online thing of like, let's say I'm gaming with someone. It's like the people we play WoW with and stuff. We know them, but we don't know them. Like, we've never met them in person, but we know them. We talk to them. Like, that's the only thing I can think of, is that he knew Peter Parker. He just didn't know he knew Peter Parker. It wasn't like, oh, hey, Pete. Yet again, that's the only thing I can think of.
Every other fucking villain knew Peter Parker.
Yeah.
Knew Peter Parker.
I agree. But also,
it just comes back to the terrible writing of The Amazing Spider-Man again.
That you have to go through these many hoops just to say, hey, that's how it makes sense, guys. That's how this makes sense. Those movies
that was the only, like, that was the one thing that bugged me. I was like, the villain choice for the other ones, like, I think Sandman and Electro was great. Don't get me wrong. This was an amazing, like,
Killer Croc
comeback performance for Jamie Foxx.
Killer Croc didn't have much in this.
No. But you understood why. Like, Sandman literally had nothing to do with this shit, and he didn't die that we know of. So, weird. Jamie Foxx didn't know Peter Parker. He knew Spider-Man. So, like, I don't know. Those were two things that stood out as far as the only, like, if I want to nitpick, that's the only two things.
Yeah.
The whole thing was fantastic. It was amazing. It was spectacular. It was so
drop more enjoyable. Spider-Man words, Dave.
I think I couldn't come up with a third one to cap that all together. But it was phenomenal. So, like, I think the one thing we haven't talked about.
Go ahead, bring it up.
Doctor Strange.
Yep.
Doctor Strange. It's like a movie of a couple acts, because like the opening act is like Peter Parker, oh no, the villains are loose, go capture all the villains, and like Doctor Strange hits him with the Scooby-Doo gang line, and I was like, oh, this is great. This is just so, like, it's fun, it's easygoing. He gives him the fucking magical web shooter to put the villains back in. The tree scene, like, is it a magical tree? Is it a, like...
And then Jamie Foxx, no, it's just a tree, man. by the way...
Jamie Foxx had so many good lines in that movie, too.
By the way, the best part of this movie was basically, whoa, wait, your web comes out of you? Like, mine doesn't do that. Like, I run out of cartridges. Like, do you ever have like a web blockage? Like, yeah, I did have, you bring up I did have one. Well, how? Kind of traumatizable. Well, does it come out of other places too?
Yeah.
Of course Tom was the one to ask that one.
He's a child. They were all thinking it.
By the way,
but like,
Dave,
even in that scene, like Andrew Garfield, after he says, like, when they're in the lab scene prior to this, and he brings it up, he's just staring like disgusting at his arm. He's like, I'm not gonna not look at like the wrist. He's just like,
Yeah. Like, dude,
or,
I'm
like
sorry.
the conversation continues
It
and
just
he's just
intrigues me.
locked in. He's like,
Just
that's
intrigues
fucking
me.
wrong.
By the
It's
way,
kinda
Dave,
cool.
amazing, spectacular, sensational,
Oh, sensational.
superior, avenging, ultimate, astonishing, and friendly neighborhood are all the
Okay.
adjectives used for Spider-Man.
Okay, fair enough. I got 2 out of 8.
The one that won this Reddit poll by 61% was Amazing Spider-Man,
Yeah,
followed by spectacular and then sensational.
yeah, that makes sense.
But Doctor Strange, as you were saying, before I cut you
No,
off.
like so that first act was so fun. It was easy going. You know, catch the villains with the magic, and then all of a sudden the whole thing takes a twist when like Tom Holland's not cool with sending these people to their fucking death again, which is
Yeah.
kind of a fucking big deal. And the fight scene between him and Doctor Strange was very fun because you got the initial like Doctor Strange knocks his consciousness out of his body.
And his Spidey sense, like the whole reason why he was moving the box was because, yet again, in one of the movies I watched on YouTube, they said that's because it was Peter's spider sense. Like his spider sense is there to protect him. So
Yep.
it was still moving his arm while he was still like astral
Right.
projected out of his body. And then
That's
he was
very
able
cool.
to like swim into his body because of his spider sense.
It was very cool. That whole fight scene was just CGI god. Like that was just like we're gonna go through like this world of like crazy New York City spinning, spiraling,
Doctor
fucking
Strange.
every.
It's the Doctor Strange
Oh.
movies, man.
The mirror universe is so cool, and it is worth like the movie Inception. Can we just thank you for Inception because that's what made all this possible. All this fucking bendy, timey bullshit as far as like
Dave, timey-wimey? Is that
timey
what it is?
wimey. It's not though because like that Doctor
No, I don't know
Ooh.
Doctor Who.
Doctor Who is great in its own right, but like this is more like the universe is all like whoop.
Yeah.
We're just gonna fold that city in half.
Isn't Loki's more related to Doctor
Yeah,
Who?
Loki.
It's time
The
travel?
Loki series felt a little timey wimey.
Okay.
But no, like it was such a fun fight scene, but same time, like I even got a little like the fuck is going on for a couple seconds because I just there's so much to look at on the screen. It's a beautifully done shot, like the whole way through.
The thing I love most about that fight scene
Yeah,
is towards the end when Peter Parker just goes, it's geometry. Oh, I
Yeah.
know this. It's geometry. And then is able to like trap Doctor Strange and be like, haha, I'm smarter than you. And then escape with
Exactly.
the box. Like that
because
to
that
me,
is his superpower.
like that to me was like, holy
Geometry
shit.
is Tom Holland. He is the practical, mathematical. Andrew Garfield is the scientist, as we saw by like him being like, so we need to get a cure for all of them. And they're like, what do you do for the crocodile? And he's like, oh, I got that, super easy.
Yeah, I
and it was
done
just
that.
like, I was waiting for him to drop like super easy, barely an inconvenience. I honestly thought he was gonna say it,
Barely an inconvenience.
but like the way he just, yes, what are you talking? Like he is the scientist among the group, and Tobey Maguire. I mean, like,
Tobe. You just called him
what
Tobe.
what is Toby outside of just super likable and like the experienced Spider-Man? Like he is. I mean, what
is the
what would you
like,
classify him as? Because like we said, like the other things that like the other Spider-Mans add. So like you're Spider-Man, but you're also like obviously one math and science. One is a scientist as far as like biology and shit. And it's just like, what's Tobey Maguire? He seemed like the cool, calm, collected, just
Tobey Maguire, I would say, is more into like so each of them have a different thing that we know Spider-Man for.
Yeah.
Tom Holland is the mathematical side.
Yep.
Garfield's the scientific side. Toby's the more professional side, the more photographer side, the Daily Bugle. Like that's the main thing of like that he was associated with in those movies because even with like Doc Ock, it wasn't like in the Toby movies. It wasn't like how in the game where it was like, oh, I'm an apprentice of Dr. Octavius. No, it was he was there for press. He was there to like take pictures of the stuff. Obviously they were friends. Like there was a friendship that grew but it was never like oh, I am the apprentice of Dr. Octavius in those movies. Unless I'm misremembering things.
No, you're right. Like he was smart, but it's not like we didn't get to see that level of depth like we saw from Garfield in the lab coat, like we saw from Tom Holland working out shit mathematically to make things work.
Yeah. Like his web shooters and stuff.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's just it's different, but same time, like I don't know. Just you felt confident with Tobey Maguire there. It just felt like he's the calming force on that squad, right?
Yeah. I will be honest, and this is Jake and I had a brief discussion about this.
Yeah.
He wanted me to bring this up.
Yeah.
He thinks that Tom Holland is if de facto, he is Spider-Man. He is the best Spider-Man. I kind of have to disagree. I think Tom Holland is good. I like Tom Holland's Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Tobey Maguire is Spider-Man to me. And I don't know if that's just because that's what I grew up on. That's my childhood right there. Like,
you guys are probably the same age watching the movies, so you know.
I felt, well, no, we were 12.
You in 2002 and him in 2012?
2000, yeah, well, was Homecoming
2015? What I don't know when Homecoming
I think
dropped.
It was 2017.
So yeah, you guys were about the same age when you each watched your first. He's gonna hate me for that. He's gonna hate me for that.
But like,
if he makes it this far, good for him.
Like, I don't know. Like, to me, it's between Tom Holland and Tobey Maguire.
I really enjoy Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man.
Okay, so you're on the Andrew Garfield train.
I think he captures Spider-Man well. I think he captures like what I think when I think of like a little bit of the 90s cartoon, a little bit of the comic books. It feels like he's got the right attitude and the right.
Were just shit. Is that what you're saying?
I think the movies are shit.
Yeah.
I enjoyed him in them, but I think the movies themselves were shit. I think that if he had a chance to succeed, like. Could you pick up Andrew Garfield and put him in the Tobey Maguire movies? Would it work? I don't know. Could you do it with Tom Holland? Like, that's the thing I ask myself. Like, and I totally, you don't know. No one knows. There's no answer to that question, but it's fun to think about.
The only reason I say no is because of how true to the comics that, like Sam Raimi, I don't think that
Andrew Garfield's too cool to be.
Yeah, I don't think that a Tom Holland personality or a Garfield personality could work in the Sam Raimi Spider-Man. Just like I don't think a Tobey Maguire personality could work in the other two.
No, I think Holland and Garfield are similar, and they could swap without a problem. But Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man was written in a certain way that I can only see Tobey Maguire fitting.
Yeah.
I don't know. I look, they all play different Spider-Men. I think the Sam Raimi stuff is very fun because of the art style, because of the presentation, because of the comic book. You see the pure inspiration. And
not just that, you got to understand when it came to the Sam Raimi, the first Spider-Man, you and I were too young to maybe realize this. We were just like, holy shit, it's Spider-Man. Like, I remember us being hyped 11? For it. What? I remember us after Spider-Man 3.
Yeah.
Like, I remember walking out of that movie with you and being like, holy shit, we saw Venom. That was so cool. Oh my God. Could you imagine if we got Carnage in a movie?
Yes.
And both you and I had the same reaction. That'll never happen because comic book movies will never be rated R. And then, Dave, we're living in a universe where comic book movies could be rated fucking R, and we got Carnage in a fucking movie.
To be fair, that was a pretty shit Carnage.
But we still got Carnage in a movie.
I mean, it happened, but yeah, it was not the one I was hoping for. But still, you're right. I remember that conversation we did have. We didn't realize how bad that movie was, I think, at the time when we watched it.
We were kids. Like,
yeah, I mean, when you're like 14, it's very hard to judge, or 16 maybe at the time, who knows? But like, very hard to figure that out. But no, I think that...
let's see, Spider-Man 1 was in 2002.
Yep.
So we were 12 years old. Spider-Man 2 was in 2014. We were 14 years old, just getting into high school, Dave. And then we were juniors in high school, about to be seniors when Spider-Man 3 came out. So we were about 17 when that movie came out.
Nice. I mean, yeah, you're going to enjoy the things a lot more when you don't have to think through, like, we're in our fucking 30s now talking about, like, the context of time and shit. And like, we're only movies a little differently now.
And then you jump ahead, age 22 when Andrew Garfield's came out.
And I really enjoyed, I think Amazing Spider-Man 1 was super fun. That's something I want to touch on.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Andrew Garfield's relationship with what's the actress who played Gwen Stacy?
Emma Watson.
Yeah. With Emma Watson was so real.
Emma Stone.
Yeah. I was like Emma Stone. Yeah. I was like Emma Watson.
I knew it was
Hermione.
Emma Watson.
Nice. Nice. But
not gonna finish that Bo Burnham line, by the way, because you know what comes next.
I do. His relationship in Amazing Spider-Man, as tragic as it was, you were so invested. Like, part of it was because like they met on set and they started dating, so like it felt real because it probably was real.
Just like Tom Holland and Zendaya are now dating.
But I didn't feel much there. Like, I'll be honest, the 3 movies in, like, I didn't feel
this
nothing.
movie. I did, and I don't
till the
know if
last
it's
fucking moment of like the memories, and she hit someone with basically like literally the line of like him being snapped and being like, I don't want to go, like that moment. And then she kept basically hit like the equivalent of that with, you know, once he said, I'm sacrificing everything to save the universe. And you're going to forget me. You're going to forget everything about me. And it was like the I don't want a moment. And like that hit. But outside of that, I felt like they just didn't devote screen time or didn't have like, I don't know.
Maybe it's because I brought in because like the thing with Tom Holland is watch any fucking interview with him and Zendaya. The way he fucking looks at her, it's like, dude, just tell her you love her. Like,
but in the movies,
I think.
Do you feel any of that?
I didn't. I did in this one. I felt like and maybe it's because like I brought the real world into it. Maybe that's what I'm doing. But like, to me, I felt it in the first 2. Didn't really feel it. It was just like, oh, there's supposed to be.
The first one, there was a love interest, and this was playful tease.
The second one, I'm like, just kiss already, like, get it over with.
The whole like, oh, I found out, like,
this one,
Spider-Man. He's like, no, really.
I think
like,
the reason
the fun scene on the bridge. Yeah,
the reason why I felt it is because I did bring in the outside, because like the fact that like he's sitting on Happy's couch and they're like FaceTiming.
Yes.
I literally could see Tom Holland and Zendaya doing that in real life.
Yeah.
That exact same conversation, just I could see them doing that. Like, oh, that's Tom Holland. This Peter Parker is Tom Holland's personality. Like,
right.
And that's a thing with like the great actors. They don't like try to like, oh, I need to be Peter Parker. No. My personality is going to be Peter Parker. Like
Ryan Reynolds is Ryan Reynolds in every movie now, though. That's a problem.
But he is Daredevil. Like Daredevil.
Nope.
Try writing Daredevil without Ryan Reynolds.
Nope. Deadpool. Daredevil is in this movie.
Daredevil. You know what I meant.
Hello.
Deadpool.
Thank you. Welcome. Matt Murdock is in here. Great fucking appearance. I'm a really good lawyer. How'd you do that? You caught a brick without looking. How'd that? I'm a really good lawyer.
You're a blind man who caught a brick without looking.
Yep. It was an incredible moment. Charlie Cox, everyone's delighted to see him. Mm-hmm. Vincent D'Onofrio as the Kingpin. Spoilers, if anybody hasn't watched Hawkeye. He does appear. I was incorrect, Ricky, when I told you that night. That is Vincent D'Onofrio.
Oh my God, thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
So, same. Both of them are in this universe. Very cool. But, like, you know, the idea of an actor becoming the role, 100%, I agree with you. Like, Johnny Depp was involved in Pirates of the Caribbean until that awful bitch got in the way.
Just like Wolverine is Hugh Jackman.
Exactly. And there are very few exceptions. I think, the only one that felt kind of, I don't want to say tolerable, but Professor X in the comic setup, Patrick Stewart. I think everyone enjoyed Patrick Stewart. And then at the same time, I think we all got to enjoy the young Professor X, played by a guy I can't remember name.
Oh, fuck. What was his name?
He's a very good actor.
He was in Wanted.
He was in a lot of movies. I can't remember his name now.
James McAvoy.
McAvoy. And I think that's one of those ones. It's very similar to Spider-Man. It's like you both have very different things you're bringing to the table, but at the same time, I feel like both of you did a very great job at like your personalities is this character, and I can see it working in that like X-Men universe because there's so much built up there. Spider-Man in this universe, 100% Tom Holland, true to form. It feels like it, but I don't know. Outside of that last scene with Zendaya and the like, don't want to forget thing, didn't really feel it. I felt like that's and again, I am scraping so fucking deep. The villain thing was noticeable, but at the same time, I was like, who gives a fuck? This is awesome.
That's why I say this was a near
like
perfect movie.
yes, I agree.
Like near like
It was
and
almost
and the reason why I think it's a near perfect movie is because I want to watch it. Oh, like I want to watch it again. I want to watch it again and again and again and again. Like I want to play it on repeat over and over and over and over. Like it's the same thing that there are a few Marvel movies that have done that to me. Thor Ragnarok, Infinity War, Endgame. Those are the only three.
you
But,
can watch
like,
Endgame more than once.
Yeah, I've Infinity War more than Endgame. Infinity War,
Okay.
I love that movie. Like Infinity War to me, that and Thor Ragnarok. If I could just watch those two over and over. Like if you said two Marvel movies, that's all you get. I'd be
That's
happy
insane.
with those two, just over and over.
That is insane. Dude, watching Endgame for me is like I need 6 months off after that. Like I can't go back to that movie again. That's too emotional, too much tied to it. I can't do it. But yeah, I agree. This was an amazing movie. There's something for everyone who loves Spider-Man, no matter what generation of Spider-Man in there. And there's infinite things in this fucking movie to look at the next time through that you'll notice that you didn't notice the first time. And I think that's the biggest thing I watched from like watching one of these Easter egg YouTube videos. Like the ending. You know, he's faced with a choice of, do I tell my friends, you know, hey, we know each other, there's a multiverse, I'm Spider-Man, all this happened, and da-da-da. How do you do that? Like you see him going to the coffee shop, he's got a note written out with what he thinks is like, he practiced because obviously we saw Spider-Man, Peter Parker, try to wing a conversation that was very important to him when he was trying to get his college admissions in on the middle of a freeway and clearly had no idea what the fuck to say. Yeah. So I thought it was a nice, like, it was a cute, like, okay. He's like, you should have practiced. And now he's got like his little sheet. He's ready to read off his sheet to MJ and he couldn't do it. He couldn't do it because he gets to the coffee shop. He sees MJ there and his best friend, and it's just like both of them got an MIT, both of them are still having the life that like he changed, and it's like the question of like he saw the bandage and that was it. It was like I've hurt them, are they better off without me? That moment of doubt, and like maybe not yet, but at the same time she's wearing the broken Black Dahlia necklace still, which I didn't catch the first time. The first time, I've only seen it once. I didn't catch it.
Is that from one of the film?
That's from. Yeah. So the Black Dahlia necklace was the whole like he went shopping when they went Far From Home.
Yes.
He went in Italy. He bought Black Dahlia because that was like the murderer, and like she's like, that's super cool.
Yeah.
And then it broke at the end of that movie, but she's like, no, I like it even better because it's like it's fitting.
Yeah.
So the fact that she's still wearing that, it's like. Something's still there. Don't know why, but it's still important to her to wear a broken fucking Black Dahlia necklace. So like I thought it's like there's so much going on in this scene.
Well, and the thing that I like, the thing that first off, like there's a part I want to go to, but I want to stay on this first. Is I had to explain because when I came home, my mom was like, "Oh, how'd you like the movie?" And I was like, "Dude, it was so fucking awesome. Like I loved it. It was a perfect movie." And my mom goes, "Oh, my coworker didn't like it." First off, my first thought was like, he's a fucking idiot.
Like, yeah, he's like, fuck your coworker.
And then like the next day, my mom's like, well, he said it was awesome seeing all these Spider-Men and it was a great movie. He just didn't like the ending that like they should have been together. And like I had to explain to my mom kind of what you said of like the great thing about it is that he chose their happiness over himself. Like I am going to make the selfless decision of letting you live your lives without me, because even though you were all in and saying, no, we're in it till the end, I don't want to hurt you. I do not want to put you in the danger that I put you in. And it's like, a lot of movies have done it relationship wise of like we can't, like, I want to be with you, but I can't be with you because I put you in danger. Like we've seen it so many times. Fuck it. Batman with Rachel. Before. Yeah, we've seen it in Spider-Man before. But like to see it here and like that's the bittersweetness of it. Of like he's going to choose starting over. And, like, that's why I think, like, the whole Ned thing, they are going to do the Hobgoblin in the future. Because remember when he says, I'm not going to turn on you, I'm not going to hurt you and be evil? He's going to do it and not realize it. He's going to do it and not realize that he said that because he doesn't remember who Peter Parker is.
So, yes and no in my mind, because like yes that's the ultimate tease. We all know Ned at some point in the comics does become that character.
I think
it would be skipping a couple Hobgoblins. To be fair, there are a couple in between.
Well, that's the thing. In 4, 5, and 6, do you have Peter meet Harry? Do you introduce the Norman Osborn of this universe, or do you not because Peter knew a Norman Osborn already and knew he's the Green Goblin?
Don't know, but at the same time. We're just gonna avoid the fact that Ned's a goddamn sorcerer?
Yeah,
we're just gonna not talk about the fact that Ned's a goddamn sorcerer in here?
He can use a sling ring.
Magically. No fucking practice, no nothing, just sling rings the goddamn fucking universe open.
Doctor Strange is like, huh, interesting.
We're just not gonna talk about that?
I mean,
Doctor Strange had to get fucking dropped on a goddamn mountainside and in fear of his life to learn how to use a sling ring. And Ned's just like, Peter Parker, we got Peter Parker. Oh, the wrong one. Let me try again. Peter Parker. Oh, we got another one. Like,
so do you think Ned could be the next Sorcerer Supreme?
I don't know, but the cape chose him. The cape flew him down to safety.
You're right.
At the end of the movie, off the fucking Statue of Liberty.
Yeah, you're right.
So, like, Ned's a fucking sorcerer. I think that opens. I want Ned. I want Sorcerer Ned more than I want Hobgoblin Ned. I'll be 100% honest with you. Not even close. Sorcerer Ned, yes.
So, because we haven't talked about Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, because we get that in a post-credit scene.
We do.
Do you think because of what happens there's a new Doctor Strange and Ned becomes the new Doctor Strange? Is that even possible? Would Ned be a Doctor Strange? Like,
well, it's not Doctor Strange is his name, not a title. To be fair,
but the next sorcerer.
Yeah, he could be a Sorcerer Supreme because Doctor Strange is the Sorcerer Supreme after he got snapped. Yes, love that. Absolutely love that.
It makes sense to like why he was in like a fucking hoodie and shit.
Yeah,
because he got it out of technicality.
Yep, it was fun. No, I don't know. I think it could. I think it opens the door. It opens the door more so. Like we have more proof of him being a sorcerer than we have him being a hobgoblin. You know, like I do agree though. I think that the opportunity is there for the twist, and it'll be so juicy because we literally have him saying the line of like the conversation about his best friend hurting him, and both Toby telling the story and Andrew Garfield and I don't know the actor who plays Ned both turning around and being like, "Shit, man, like that's so fucked up," and then Ned coming back to Tom Holland and saying line, and Andrew Garfield puts his hand and shows like, "Good job," like acknowledging like, "You fucking goof, you straight up goof." So no, like it's all there for it. I agree. That's Tom Holland's future will 100% be. There's a chance to fight Ned, and I think that's so cool. It's just whether Ned they go Hobgoblin or they go Ned as a sorcerer. Oh, Ned as a sorcerer is kind of fucking cool.
Because like I'm looking obviously a Screen Rant article, and like. When it comes to villains, we have, and yet again, Spider-Man 4 is probably not going to be for a while.
Yeah.
Because like it's almost going to be like I am almost thinking of Spider-Man 4 in the same vein that I'm thinking X-Men. Of like, don't expect it for like 5 years. Take a break.
Yeah.
Like take a breather. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you did say potential family starter, which Zendaya obviously
takes a
but Zendaya is filming Dune episode 2 and 3. Or I'm sorry, episode 2, not 3. So filming Dune part 2. So that's going to be this whole year. So if she has a kid, that'd have to be after that because you can't. Well, it depends. Technically, she gets pregnant in the movie, so like spoilers. Maybe. I don't know. That's good. Now I'm like pushing the timeline now.
When I heard that was the quote from Tom Holland, my first thought was like, well, does Zendaya know about this? Because I thought you two were now dating
also,
and being official.
How old is Tom Holland Zendaya?
Zendaya was born in 96. So she would be... Let's
20s.
see. She
7 years younger, 6 years younger
25.
than us. Yeah.
And I think Tom Holland's the similar age.
It should be about the same age, yeah.
So he is
Okay.
25 as well. So they're 25.
Yeah, that's fine.
I mean,
okay.
when you got the money that they have, like,
No, I'm just thinking in my head, I was like, how young are they? Because, like, my brain goes Peter Parker high school, and I'm like, I know he's not in high school. I know Tom Holland's older than that, but, like, I didn't know how old Zendaya was, so. Okay, they're both mid-20. That, yeah, whatever. So, in the next year, they could have a kid, maybe, if they want to do that. And then, yeah, film in another 2 years after that. I could see that. Yeah, so I could see Spider-Man's next big thing in, like, 3.5, 4 years, easy. I agree with you. But yeah, I mean, they have opened the door to so many opportunities because the multiverse, A, just fucking awesome. Yeah. But B, those cracks in the sky at the ending. As Doctor Strange is holding the universe together.
You could see, like, blue,
you
like,
could see
blue variants.
The outlines of
Hit me, Dave.
the Rhino.
Okay.
Scorpion. The Hunter.
Is that them teasing? Because, Dave, I was going to say... So here's what we have. These are the known villains that could pop up in a future Spider-Man movie. Venom, because of the post-credit scene. Yes, Tom Hardy got sucked away, but there was a Venom droplet that hit the fucking...
Do we want to have a Tom Hardy Venom? Or can we have Tom Hardy exist in this universe and his name just happens to be the same? And he also happens to be Eddie Brock?
They could do...
Would anyone complain?
The reason why I think they did it the way they did was so that if they do want to bring in Eddie Brock, if they do want to bring in Tom Hardy, they can. But in case Kevin Feige doesn't want that and wants to, like, it leaves it open for, hey, let's try to see, like, oh no, this guy would be fucking
Sony deal
great as Eddie
shenanigans
Brock.
in 5 years.
And it's like, great, we can't. Kraven the Hunter. There have already been. I think it's the. Let's see. Sony is now developing a Kraven the Hunter movie starring Aaron Taylor Thomas as the Spider-Man villain. Will be released in 2023. So Kraven the Hunter, Wilson Fisk.
Yep.
He was released in Hawkeye.
Yep.
They say Green Goblin, but, like, for me, it's like, I don't know if they, like, because he knew a version of Norman. Do they even release a Norman or a...
There's no Osborn
Harry?
Building. He said his son, ... We never heard the end of that sentence.
Yeah.
So we don't know if the Osborns exist in this universe.
Scorpion is in this universe.
Yeah. Well, we saw Scorpion in the sky, too.
Yeah, but we do have a Scorpion in this universe. He was in Homecoming. Because you had Vulture and...
Oh, that's right, at the end scene. Yeah, the end scene.
I mean, he wasn't Scorpion then, but it was Matt Gargan, which is Scorpion.
It's Scorpion, yeah.
It says Rhino could be a live-action adaptation.
Any more Paul Giamatti?
Paul Giamatti's didn't get inside the mech suit, barring a surprise, They bring up Mr. Negative. That would be a stretch. Chameleon. Right now, the only knowns are Scorpion. So Scorpion, Wilson, Kraven, and Venom are currently, we know for sure, in the universe.
Yeah, part of this whole fuckery turns into the whole, like, Sony Disney relationship and how long that will continue on. And I don't know the film deal because obviously we have Kraven the Hunter. We saw the teaser for. No, we saw the full trailer for.
Did we?
Yeah, we saw the full trailer for Kraven the Hunter.
I have not seen that trailer.
I'm sorry, not Kraven. Morbius. My brain's
which
just
comes
dying
out
right
January 28th.
Right. So we get Morbius, who is aware of Venom, so they're in the same universe. Who also has Blade in it.
And also, I'm sorry, in the trailer, that was not Blade.
No,
that was so I mixed up Mahershala Ali with Tyrese Gibson from the Fast and Furious movies. So there's that.
Okay, so but he is at least in the Venom universe. So we're setting up the Sony villains universe, basically, between Venom, Carnage, and Morbius, and then obviously if we have any other crossover, we can. But also, we have the goddamn, I can't think of his name, the villain from the first Tom Holland Homecoming. Vulture is also aware of that villain. So, like,
so you're saying,
is this Sony? Is this Marvel? Is this the same universe? Does it matter anymore? Like, I'm a little confused on what is on the table for them versus what is, like, gray area, you
Because
know?
if Venom is in Morbius,
Correct.
obviously
He
it's
really jokes. He's like, I'm Venom. And he's like, no, just fuck with you. I'm Dr. Whatever his name is.
which Michael Keaton's Vulture is in Morbius. So, like,
Yes.
aren't they connected then?
So that's what I'm saying. Like, Spider-Man has so much opportunity, but at the same time, it's so much of this is up to the Sony Marvel deal because you don't know rights-wise who's on what side and what's a shareable piece of content. So,
Fucking
like,
let
they can go
Marvel
Venom.
get them back.
They can go Ned as a Goblin. They could go so many different directions. We could have the Sinister Six on one side. We could have a big crossover. Like, we could do so much. This was such a great capstone to Spider-Man, Tom Holland, first three. This was his build-up. This was awesome. But they literally have a clean slate, clean fucking slate to go forward with.
Yeah.
And I'm so excited, but at the same time, I'm so confused because I don't know what's not possible.
Yeah.
How should I feel?
So, here's one thing that, like, you know what? Never mind. I was going to bring something up. Doesn't make sense. Like, if, like, let's say the spell worked on everyone, like, except Kraven, where it's like, I'm hunting you, Peter. But, like, let's be honest, he'd be hunting Spider-Man, not Peter Parker. The thing that annoys me is Michael Keaton on IMDb for Morbius does not say who he's playing. Please don't do this dumb shit where you casted him, but he's someone completely different.
Yeah, same actor, different fucking...
Yeah, like, don't do that shit. Like, have him just be Vulture or be the guy who is the Vulture to connect them. Because, like, I cannot wait to see where this kind of goes. Because the other question is, smaller one, Avengers Tower. Who bought it? There's one running theory that most people think it is. There's one alternate route that I think it could be, but it probably isn't. Is the Avengers Tower going to be in the new Baxter building or Oscorp? Does Norman
We just
Osborn
got confirmation Oscorp doesn't exist.
Okay, good point.
That was just in this movie, so it has to be.
Because he goes, I went to my apartment and...
I went to my home and it wasn't there.
Yeah.
Oscorp wasn't there.
Good point.
And my son, ... Don't know.
Yeah. So is it basically like...
It could be Baxter building. That would make the most sense.
Fantastic Four moves in, which, by the way, Spider-Man could cross over with them. Could be in there. I don't think he'll be in their first movie. Let them, like, have their own movie to breathe.
They need a movie to not suck in first before we start adding on more on top. Because
You didn't like Fan Four Stick, Dave? the dead silence. The movies that we do know about, though, like Doctor Strange Multiverse of the Madness, we've got that trailer. They just basically were like, we're just going to give it to you. We're
going to continue off of What If, and we will figure out this shit as we go.
So, like,
the biggest threat to magic is you, but not you. Mm-hmm. You from another dimension who already ruined his dimension and then saved the dimensional situation, but also evil, maybe. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm in. I'm all in on this. Like, I love it. I enjoyed What If, so I'm super intrigued by Dark Doctor Strange.
And the room that they were in, by the way, I can't wait till it releases because I'm going to fucking watch it over and over. Yeah. But I believe that the room that they were in was a copy of the room where Loki and female Loki, met Kang. Oh. It looked like the same exact room. Like the whole, like the one with like the timeline that was like in the back behind him. Because I was like, oh, Kang. And I was like, ooh, Sorcerer Supreme. That's a source. That's an evil Doctor Strange that we're going with there. We have Thor: Love and Thunder. We're gonna see what that's all about. A movie riddled with controversy. Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. Because first you had the actor that played Shuri, all of her social media stuff that people were calling for her to get stripped from the role.
She said some horrible things.
But then also, I believe she got hurt while performing a stunt, which people are like, well, we don't know what's going to happen there. The Marvels, which I'm assuming is Captain Marvel 2, Captain Marvel 2. They're just calling it the Marvels.
Captain Marvel 2, correct. Because it's her and what's her face? Or what's her face?
Kamala Khan.
Yes.
Who's going to have her Disney Plus series, by the way. Guardians 3, which will be May. So, dates, by the way. Doctor Strange is in May. Thor's in July. Black Panther right now is set for your birthday weekend, November 11th, 2022.
It better not suck.
The Marvels is February 2023. Guardians 3 is May of 2023. Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, which we know Kang will be in, July 28th, 2023. Then ones we don't have dates for, Fantastic Four, Blade's going to be in there, Deadpool 3, Captain America 4, the first Sam Wilson Captain America movie, Shang-Chi 2, whenever they want to do that. X-Men, they put it on there. I don't think X-Men's coming until at least 2025. They're going to give that shit time to fucking breathe. Let you forget about the Fox X-Men before we make our own.
That was... Oof.
What, the Fox X-Men?
The Phoenix...
The Dark Phoenix saga.
It was so bad.
It was.
It was... It was so incredibly bad.
They fucked it up twice, Dave.
So incredibly bad.
Do you think... So, if you're Kevin Feige, do you steer away from it, or do you say, I can do it right?
And Feige's still making movies in 2025, right? Then I'm all for him. The man knows what he's doing.
Like, I have faith that he... Like, until someone tells me otherwise, I just think Kevin Feige's going to make Marvel movies till he dies, Dave.
And he miss. So far, no.
Let's see if he can do Star Wars too, because he's doing a Star Wars movie, Dave.
That will be the test.
But last thing we'll bring up, well, one of the last things. We haven't gotten to the one thing I want to talk about.
We're like 2 hours in. This is never ending. I love it.
It's not 2 hours. It's only an hour. Multiverse and Madness, because we got the post-credit scene at the end. Besides the whole, like, Doctor Strange being evil thing, how does it work? That, like, does he just be like, oh, multiverses, how the fuck did those happen again? Or is it just like, I remember everything, I just don't know who Peter Parker is?
I think he remembers everything but not Peter Parker.
Okay.
I'm assuming he'll remember casting a spell. I just don't know if he'll know why, maybe?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think that'll be the case. Like, he knows he casted the spell, but he doesn't know why, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, like, they already knew about multiverses, so, like...
Good point.
They've already dealt with that problem.
Wanda, like, I'm sorry for what I did. Oh, I'm not here for that.
Yeah, I love that that's just like a write-off. Not even.
Which, we also saw Doctor Strange at a wedding. So, are we going to see Scarlet Witch in Vision's wedding? Like, actual wedding? Like, that to me
was it her wedding?
I don't know.
Someone else's wedding.
That's the only thing I assumed. Also, Scarlet Witch and her... We're getting more and more comic book accurate
costume
to Scarlet Witch, which is nice. Maybe we can actually find out that she's a mutant and not a fucking miracle, because I don't know what the fuck a miracle is, Dave.
I can't say that out of that word.
Fucking idea. Well, now they can. Last but not least, the thing that I teased at the beginning, we'll have it now. Endgame or No Way Home, which is the if de facto #1 Marvel movie. Are you on the side of Fred or are you against Fred?
Marvel movie, or like, because like one had all the Marvel properties in it, so it's kind of like a showcase.
I would say,
and it had a decade worth of build up.
I would say Marvel movie.
Come on, I think I enjoyed this Spider-Man movie more than Endgame, but the emotional trauma and drama of Endgame was fulfilling to wrap up like that whole chapter.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that that's how I'm going to answer that one without an answer.
That's how I'm going to answer that one without answering. But yeah, this one, by far, this one to me is, and I loved Endgame. This to me is, maybe it's because Spider-Man's my boy of the Marvel, like, superheroes. Yeah. I got Batman on DC. I've got Spider-Man on the Marvel. Those have been like my heroes, ride or die, for my entire life. This was a perfect movie. Like you said, like, the thing that I think, just like Endgame, makes this such a great movie is the connections that you have. Like,
yeah.
And the thing that puts this, I think, on an Endgame level is you don't just have one Spider-Man. You have 3 different generations of Spider-Man.
20 years.
2002 to 2021.
I mean, we're basically 2022. Let's be honest.
Basically 2022. Like, 20 years of Spider-Man in one movie, and you kept all of them off without any, like, you tried to bring up some things that you're like, oh, that's what nitpicking is basically what it was. Digging
that's
deep
all you can do.
To try to find something.
That's all you can do. This was a phenomenal movie. It was so enjoyable. And like you said, it set off every character arc, and it made you feel good about the ending to Spider-Man 3, which was not a good movie. It made you feel good about Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man, who didn't have good movies. So, like, and it made you feel good about Tom Holland finishing up this chapter of his life. So, like, it hit on all marks. It had great music. The soundtracks, they pulled stuff from all the generations, all the movies. I mean, they really covered everything visually stunning, great scenes, great writing. Literally, like you said, this is, you know, you don't give a movie 100 out of 100, so you give it a 98 out of 100, whatever. But, like, this was pretty much what you would want. If you ever dreamed of a perfect Spider-Man movie, this is it.
And, like, I do know where this came from. I was watching Emergency Awesomes because before we saw it, I was like, I want to watch his Spider-Man review, non-spoilery. And he said with the music, he said Michael Giacchino, he's like, he went hard. He's like, he did not have to go as hard as he did on the music for this movie. But, and yet again, this comment made sense now that I saw the movie. He goes, he didn't pull his punches.
No.
Now that I caught that, I was like, oh, that's why he said that. He didn't pull his punches. At the time, I was like, it was just like, oh, people say that, didn't pull his punches. Anything you think we have not touched in this hour and 17 minutes-ish? Dave's like, I've been talking.
I'm trying to think of, like, the story throughout. We got the start. We got the initial captures, all the villains. Ned's a wizard.
One
Aunt
thing
May dying.
One thing I'll throw out there.
Sure.
I know that we kind of covered this, but just an if de facto answer. In Spider-Man 4, 5, and 6.
Yep.
New love interest, or he's still chasing MJ in some way?
I think he moves on and then gets back to her at the end of it.
Okay.
I think we do get a Gwen.
For 7, 8, 9.
Oh, we're going full Star Wars on say. No, I think we do. I think we do get a Gwen Stacy of sorts. Yeah, I think I'm down for that.
I was gonna say, was there ever a third? Oh, what if we got a black cat?
Yeah, there's been other interests. Yeah.
Has it just been those three? I'm trying to think. Has it just been? Oh no, there's been a ton.
Let's say
there's Mary J. Watson. There's Gwen Stacy, Black Cat, Carly Cooper, Kitty Pryde, Silver Sable. Betty Brant is technically on this list.
If we get a Felicia, yeah. Because like that was teased in The Amazing, and they didn't do anything. I think Felicia was an assistant to Harry.
Mm-hmm.
I think so. It's been a long time since I've seen Amazing. But yeah. So it'd be cool to have a Felicia Harding and go Black Cat. I would love that, actually. I take that back. I would love to have that because that's a character we have not gotten.
Either Felicia Harding or Kitty Pryde. Those are the answers, I think. Because Kitty Pryde would bring in the X-Men in a way. Like it would start
in 2029. Ask me the question again, Ricky.
It would start
she'll still be going.
Dave's like that's when the X-Men are coming when I'm 50. 40? 40.
I'm not 50 in 2029. Asshole. I'll be 40.
We'd be 40.
Oh man, I'm 40.
We'd be fucking old. But
we are old.
No, we're not. We're not old till I say we're old, Dave. That's how shit like this works, right? But let us know, obviously, what you guys think down below in that comment section. What did you think of the movie? What were some things we missed? What should we have talked about? Let's continue that down below in the comment section. Remember, join the Discord if you have not joined it already. It's the greatest place to be a part of the MVP community. We're talking movies. We're talking gaming. We're talking a bunch of stuff in that channel. If you like wrestling, go check out Sobe and I came out with a podcast not too long ago. The next one's coming out next week for everyone, where we watch wrestling pay-per-views and kind of talk about them and go through a little retrospect review. If you want to subscribe to the channel, please do that. Helps us out. Hit that like button, the notification button. If you want to support us, check out patreon.com/MVPvids. That will do it for me. I will stop talking. It's been about an hour and 20-ish minutes of us doing this review. I want to thank you guys for watching if you stayed from beginning to end or if you caught any part of this. For myself and the amazing Dave Oster,
thank you.
Have a good day, everybody.